Big news for the Cardano community with interoperability on the way with the development of a brand new bridge connecting the Cardano ecosystem to the Cosmos universe. In addition, we just got the announcement of Pragma, a new member-based organization empowering open source projects building in and out of the ecosystem. Last but not least, we have the Chain hard fork on the horizon, bringing governance into the ecosystem, in addition to over 1,300 builders continuing to develop daily. As a part of today's video, I want to dive into all the details with everything going on in Cardano. What's up, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. I'm your host here for Reed. Today, we've got a mega jam-packed update when it comes to Cardano. First things first, we've got updates surrounding Project Catalyst, some upcoming changes, as well as the kickoff for funding round number 12. Second, we've got a bridge being worked on by the Cardano Foundation, connecting the Cardano community to Cosmos. So we're going to jump into what that means and how big of an impact this could be for both worlds colliding together. Third, we've got upgrades surrounding Pragma, a brand new member-based organization very similar to Intersect with the focus on open source development. Following that, we've got the announcement of a partnership between USDM, the premier fiat-backed stablecoin built on Cardano, in NBX, a relatively large exchange in Norway. After that, we've got the release and the official launch of Indigo Protocol V2. They're a synthetics platform here on Cardano, and V2 has been long awaited. So over a year and a half later after launch of V1, we now have that live on the main net. Now we've also got some updates surrounding Minswap, their tokenomics, V2, and some centralized exchange listings, which I want to break down, followed by Book.io Con, which has just concluded. So I want to highlight some interesting news there, specifically with Charles Hoskinson, and also a brand new mint, which I believe might be the first ever meme mint done by the Book.io team. Following that, we've got some updates surrounding Charli3, SundaeSwap, LenFi, Mynth, and ADA Handle. If it's your first time stopping by Dapp Central, my goal is to help you in the growing Cardano community stay up to date when it comes to all the building that's going on here. So if you appreciate that type of content, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions, then make sure to leave them down below. If you want to take your support a step further, I would appreciate you if you could take the time to consider delegating with the official Dapp Central stake pool, which is stake pool ticker DAPP. Right now, you'll be earning your traditional ADA rewards. The pool is returning around 3.5%, in addition to the Matera utility token as well as the Sarah utility token, given the fact that the team, or that the stake pool, I should say, is a part of the ongoing ICPOs for both of those projects. Jumping straight into the first topic for today's video, I want to talk a little bit about Project Catalyst. So this is the official release coming in from Daniel Rabar, who I believe is actually head of Project Catalyst, about the suspension and termination policy for Project Catalyst, which will become effective beginning on May 1st of 2024. So this essentially serves as a memo for the grantees that have been awarded funding, as well as the wider Cardano community, that they will be going through and making sure that projects that have not delivered get a status or give a status update. But if they don't, that their funding could essentially be suspended if not terminated. They also break down here that they have gone ahead and moved away from monthly reporting for projects within Project Catalyst. As you can imagine, keeping up with over, hundreds of projects that have been granted funding, it's really hard to go through and review all of their updates from a month-to-month basis. Instead, what they're going to be doing is reviewing the milestones which the teams have committed to during their proposal submission process. If you do want more information surrounding the suspension and termination policy memo, there is a link available at the Project Catalyst documentation website. Next, on the heels of that, we also have Project Catalyst funding round number 12 having a kickoff in Barcelona. This was announced a couple of weeks back, where the community had the opportunity to vote for a particular location, with Barcelona winning that competition. Now, if you aren't in Barcelona, don't worry, you will be able to catch a lot of this news. We have a collaboration between the Cardano Spot, which is the go-to hub for everything when it comes to Cardano. It's literally the X of Cardano, where you can find out about articles, video, content, creation, anything that you need with respect to Cardano is on the Cardano Spot. Now, that aside, they'll be collaborating with Project Catalyst to bring a stream taking place on April 26th at 10 a.m. CET. This will be an exclusive live stream of the Project Catalyst workshop, and I assume that we'll also get some information surrounding the Funding 12 timeline, the different portions, which obviously include the submission portion or the submission process, the review process, the voting, and then the official results. So I want to kick things off there with a brief update surrounding Project Catalyst. Hopefully you guys found that to be useful. Next, we've got some news which impacts interoperability and Cardano. So it looks like the Cardano Foundation has been quietly cooking up a Cardano Cosmos bridge. This was listed out here by Lewis, also known as Northern Ada. Now he's got an official link to an open source repository from the Cardano Foundation. Now looking at the left-hand side here, they have a folder dedicated specifically to Cosmos. Diving in a little bit deeper here, looks like there is some code here to connect or to communicate using some sort of light client, meaning that somebody within the Cardano community could essentially tap into the broader ecosystem or the broader Cosmos hub. Now, Cosmos is known as the Internet of Blockchains. What they essentially do is provide a very standard framework or a software development kit to build your own blockchain. And anything that's built using their SDK is able to interoperate with anybody else who's also using their SDK. Now, you may not be aware, but the BNB chain or the Binance network, right, was actually built or is actually built using the Cosmos SDK. So what does this mean for Cardano? Well, taking a look here at the map of different zones or the map of different projects using the Cosmos SDK, Cardano could essentially now become interoperable with what you see here. Now, keep in mind, this is just a small sliver. And of course, as Cosmos grows, we could get even more projects integrating or using their SDK. Just to name a few, I've already mentioned BNB. We've got Osmosis, we've got Injective, Kajira, Neutron, Noble, Carbon, Arcway, Akash, and AI Platform. So a lot of other blockchains that Cardano could essentially become friends with this particular bridge. Now, when will this actually be deployed? I've got no idea, but it is extremely positive news to see that the Cardano Foundation is thinking way ahead when it comes to interoperating or being interoperable with the Cosmos ecosystem. In addition, and as a brief reminder, we did see a EVM-based sidechain toolkit being released by IOG, which would make Cardano, interoperable with EVM-based networks. So allowing for builders on EVM networks, for example, like Ethereum, to be able to deploy on this sidechain kit and also be able to then interoperate or become interoperable with Cardano. So it seems like the era of interoperability is just around the corner. Again, with the sidechain toolkit released by IOG, and then more recently, the Cardano Foundation working on a bridge to connect to the Cosmos ecosystem. Next, we've got Pragma being released by the Cardano Foundation. So the foundation really firing on all cylinders here. Again, Cosmos, we've got Pragma now, which is a member-based organization dealing specifically with open source software projects. For example, like Icon here in the ecosystem. And then we also obviously have them dealing with the upcoming Cardano Summit and also even dealing with the Intersect MBO. So a lot going on there by the foundation. I want to take a moment just to congratulate them and to really highlight what they've been doing in the last couple of months. Now, focusing back here on Pragma, they're happy to announce a brand new member-based organization dealing with open source code alongside Blink Labs, DC Spark, SundaeSwap, and TX Pipe. Now, this is essentially aiming to empower open source projects, starting off in Cardano first, but the team does have a global vision or a multi-chain vision being blockchain agnostic. So any project that has open source code, that essentially allows for anybody else to come behind them and reuse that code without having to pay or essentially spend time rebuilding a wheel that's already been built by somebody else. So from a development standpoint and just from uplifting the entire blockchain space, it makes a lot of sense to always back open source projects. Obviously, you want them to be trustworthy, noteworthy, but if the code has been audited and reviewed already, there's no reason for anybody else to take the time to go ahead and do the same exact thing while wasting time and also incurring higher costs. So I want to highlight this here. They do have an official website available at pragma.builders. I did also take the time to release a fully dedicated video breaking down everything about this particular organization, the launch, and some frequently asked questions. As it stands right now, though, they will be focusing on Icon and Amaru, both of which are essentially pushing the Rust language out into the communities. So Amaru will be an alternative Rust node client for the Cardano blockchain, and Icon is a way to simplify development here in the ecosystem. That will wrap it up there for updates surrounding Pragma. Again, check out my full dedicated video if you do want more information surrounding that. Next, we have an exciting partnership with the USDM stablecoin and one of the largest exchanges in Norway, also known as NBX. So this is another video, or another topic, I should say, that I have a full dedicated video on. Please make sure to go ahead and check that out. But for the sake of time, we have the Mynth team, who is the sole distributor and the sole holder, right, of the ability to mint USDM in the United States. Right now, I believe there's over 17 to 18, potentially even more now, states that are eligible to mint USDM, but it's only being able to mint in the United States. With this partnership with NBX, they're going to be the first European-based issuer of USDM, and they have an e-money license that allows for them to do that. So using their e-money license, they're able to custody, mint, and distribute crypto assets, and they'll be working alongside the USDM team to issue USDM in the European region. Now, in addition, there is just more information surrounding NBX. I believe they've got over 32,000 customers, nearly $100 million of trading volume, and they also even offer a Visa-based credit card. Now, following this announcement, the team did release a monthly newsletter, also touching on the fact that they will be working to cut their fees in half. So when you mint USDM, there's no fees involved. When you burn, there is a 1.5% fee involved. So they'll be slashing that particular fee down. And they did also state that they are working and getting very close to releasing the retail portion of their platform. So that'll allow for anybody like yourself and I to jump on there, KYC. Once approved, you can then connect your bank account and begin minting the USDM token. So that will do it there for that particular update. Moving into the next one, we've got an update surrounding Indigo Protocol V2. Indigo is the largest platform in Cardano by TVL, with over $100 million currently locked on the platform. And their synthetics protocol. So if you don't have Bitcoin, but you want Bitcoin and you want to stay in the Cardano ecosystem, you can use Indigo and you can actually mint a synthetic representation of Bitcoin, where that synthetic asset mimics or tracks the actual value of real Bitcoin native to the Bitcoin network. In addition, we've already seen iAssets launch for iUSD backing or mimicking the US dollar, as well as iETH mimicking the value of Ethereum, all being done here on Cardano. Now with V2, we're expecting some upgrades when it comes to peg stabilization. Most notably, we did see iUSD, their stablecoin, having some pegging issues. And then we also are expecting some fee restructuring for Indy stakers. So if you hold the Indy governance token or the Indy utility token, there's going to be new restructuring being done to incentivize additional staking, but then to also reward existing stakers. They've also made performance upgrades. They've also added new parameters, and they've also deprecated some old existing parameters from V1. Now, all of this took place earlier today. And in addition to that, now that we have V2, which is now live, they've also rebranded the looks of their iAsset. So on the left-hand side here, we have the iUSD iAsset, and you have the old logo and you have the new logo there on the right-hand side. And keep in mind, this is not a new policy ID or a new token. The policy ID stays the same. It's just the logo associated with that token that's changing. I assume they'll be working to change or update the logos for iBTC as well as iETH as a part of the V2 launch. Now, I mentioned this before, there are new parameters that have already been deprecated from V1, and there's new ones being introduced for V2. I did release about a 15-minute video breaking down everything going on with Indigo. Please make sure to check that out if you do want more information surrounding that. In summary, the minimum collateral ratio was essentially the most important variable in V1. That's now gone away. They've added the maintenance ratio, liquidation ratio, and their redemption maintenance ratio. Last but not least here, I do want to quickly point out a really cool feature, which is the Indigo Guru. So if I close this out here at the very bottom, if I get myself out of the way, actually, you'll notice this button here where I can interact with the Indigo Guru. If I click on it, I can actually ask the Guru some questions, and it responds in real time using AI technology. So this is really interesting to see the team leaning into AI and leaning into, simplifying and streamlining any sort of questions people might have about the Indigo protocol. As you'll notice here, I asked about the stability pools. Unfortunately, the text is a little bit covered there, but I've got a really nice summary here breaking down how stability pools work and everything surrounding that. So I want to take a minute to quickly highlight that there as well. So that will do it here for updates surrounding Indigo. As always, if you do enjoy updates like these, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by, consider subscribing for more. And if you have any questions, leave them down below. Again, I would appreciate your time and your support if you were willing to delegate to the Dapp Central Stake Pool, which is stake pool ticker DAPP. Next, we've got updates surrounding the Minswap team. I was lucky enough to sit down with Pareto as well as Aperture to dive into their tokenomics report, Minswap V2 and the timeline for when that'll be coming out, as well as some pretty cool alpha surrounding a centralized exchange listing. Now, to summarize a lot of this here, the team has gone ahead and performed a token analysis. They've noticed that their allocation into their own liquidity pool is oversaturated, or they have a lot of exposure to that end. And so what they're looking to do is redistribute some of the liquidity that is currently locked up in their liquidity pool for the ADA/Min token pair and do something else with that. So some of the suggestions that popped up include incentivizing marketing or creators to create content using some of that liquidity from the protocol-owned DAO or from the protocol-owned liquidity, which is managed by the DAO. And then there's also a suggestion to incentivize min stakers by providing them more rewards. There's also the suggestion for token swaps, as well as adding liquidity to a DEX. I'll be releasing a video breaking this down in even more detail, but I want to keep this very high level. Next, we've got updates surrounding Minswap V2. This was teased back in November during the Cardano Summit. This is bringing faster throughput, smart order routing, as well as a brand new user interface and just a lot of simple ease of life features. Now, in my chat with Pareto, he mentioned that V2 is right around the corner. Anywhere within the next 2 or so months, we should get more information surrounding their audit of the smart contracts for V2 and the potential release either on the testnet or on the main net. Next, we've got upgrades or updates, surrounding Book.io. Let's go ahead and jump right on in. So Book.io Con just took place in McKinney, Texas on 4/20 and 4/21. This was the first ever BookCon conference. We saw, as you can see there, Charles Hoskinson. We saw Josh Stone, Ben Illian, Patrick from Endmaker, Travis Bailey from JPEG.store, and many others from the Cardano community in attendance. One of the biggest takeaways here was during a fireside chat with Mark Junge. Charles highlighted he wants to release a book called Hoskinson Ranch, A Living History of Twin Pines. So Charles really backing up the project here. Obviously, this is going to be a huge milestone, right, for the Book.io team, Charles, and the Cardano community. Charles is essentially the face, even though he's not the CEO of Cardano, he's very well known, right? He's sort of the leader at the helm of the development of Cardano. And it's good to see him really diving deep and working with the project just like Book.io, which offers so much utility to actually release a book as an NFT. So I'll be looking out for that. In addition, we have the team now minting over 9 billion books. I want to break down exactly how that has happened with a recent mint of, I believe what might be the first meme book done by Book.io. So we have Josh Lee Stone, who posted that 5 billion philosophy of beard books have been sold on Book.io, making it the biggest selling book of all time in a brand new world record. So this is the power of crypto and blockchain, being able to mint over 5 billion books with records kept on chain. Nobody can refute this. I'm not sure that anybody's ever published or sold 5 billion books in this record amount of time. And again, this just shows the utility, the value, and the use case that Book.io and blockchain like Cardano bring to the center stage. Now, if you jump over to the official website, they do have the Philosophy of Beards book here. It's no longer available. It has sold out. And if I take a look at the bottom, it does mention 9 billion books with a very, very low price. So this was not the typical book where, it's charging you $20 to $30 to buy the book. This was minted or available for pennies on the dollar. Now, that said, what's interesting is that this is actually trading on Minswap. So as you notice here, we have ADA/Beard as a liquidity pool. So this is a fungible token, not an NFT like some of the other books that have been minted from Book.io. The price has gone up by about 300% since the initial launch. Definitely not financial advice, but it is interesting to see that this team has essentially minted what appears to be their first sort of meme book. So I want to quickly touch and highlight that there as well. Next, we've got upgrades surrounding Charli3. So then Oracle protocol building here on Cardano, and there's been a huge craze here with respect to centralized exchange listings with the C3 team finally joining in. So they have now been listed on CoinStore, and I believe the trading pair will be the USDT or USDC trading pair against the C3 token. So if you hold any stable coins, you can now go ahead and swap those over for the C3 token on the official CoinStore centralized exchange. Next, we've got a brief update surrounding the SundaeSwap protocol. So the team has finished their audit for the V3 smart contracts. That was done by TX Pipes. And TX Pipes is actually one of the members from Pragma, which I mentioned earlier, as well as Sunday Labs. So it's interesting to see that both of these teams here are not only contributing to protocols in Cardano, but also going to be contributing to Pragma, dealing with open source code development. So it states here from the SundaeSwap team, the temperature check for V3 is now live. And again, this is to launch those particular smart contracts on the mainnet, in addition to migrating the Sunday protocol owned liquidity to the V3 smart contract. So this is available on the official SundaeSwap forum, which is available at forum.sundaeswap.finance. And again, this is just a temperature check. If this is agreed upon by the community, I believe they'll bring this on chain and allow for Sunday token holders to make their vote. Next, we've got a brief update surrounding LandFi and governance here as well. So Aneta BTC is a protocol that allows for you to wrap your Bitcoin and send that over into Cardano and use that within DeFi protocols. And the LandFi team is now asking the community as to whether or not they want to go ahead and add CBTC as a borrowable or collateral asset. Right now, the majority voting in favor of yes for the borrowable asset category, while the majority is voting no to add CBTC as a collateral asset. Next, we've got a brief update surrounding Mynth, and they've gone ahead and rebranded their entire website. They are a stablecoin protocol here, which is actually backed by other stablecoins building here on Cardano. And I believe they've got ties or bridges to at least the Tron ecosystem. And I believe they might be looking to bridge into other EVM networks as well, which I believe include Polygon. But please don't take my word. Go ahead and check them out there on their official website, which has now been rebranded. Last but definitely not least, we've got an update coming in here from the ADA Handle team. And this is for their sub handles. So sub handles were released a while back, or at least the concept was released a while back. And this would basically allow for anybody who holds a traditional handle right now to mint a sub handle from the root handle being whatever handle it is that they own right now. So as a brief example or illustration here, imagine that you own the DAO handle. You could essentially mint John at DAO or Sophie at DAO as a physical NFT or a traditional NFT, which is actually stored in John's wallet or Sophie's wallet, or with the virtual subhandle process, you could actually mint a virtual handle, which again would still be John at DAO or Sophie at DAO, but it wouldn't be minted as an actual NFT. It would just essentially be something that you could manage as the owner of the DAO handle, and you could essentially route traffic over to John at DAO as you wish. So from a permission perspective, the virtual handle gives the owner the permission to essentially revoke or change the routing associated with that NFT. But with the actual NFT here, the root handle owner, right, once you mint the sub NFT or the sub handle, you wouldn't have any more control over that because that would actually be an NFT that would exist in John's possession or Sophie's possession. So jumping back over here now that we better understand the sub handle standard, the team has given us a little tease here where they're essentially connecting to an external application, which is requesting for access to deal with the sub handle minting process. So it looks like the sub handles are right around the corner. And the team did also go ahead and tease out a NFT rental feature, which we've yet to hear more about, but that is on the roadmap as well. So imagine being able to take your handle, being able to rent that out to somebody and then receive that after a while or after a bit of time has passed. So a way to earn additional revenue while using or keeping access to your ADA handle. That will do it here for today's video, breaking down everything going on in Cardano, from Project Catalyst to Cosmos to Charli3 to Pragma, Minswap, Indigo, USDM, you name it, we've talked about it here. If you found any portion of today's video to be helpful, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by Dapp Central and you want more content like this, breaking down everything going on in the ecosystem, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions for me about anything I've talked about today, then make sure to leave a comment down below. That said, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.